Hi everybody, this is Lorraine with Chat and Craft with Lorraine Tierney, and I'm coming on today to show you a mirror stamping technique. So I'm just going to get things set up a little bit more here in the camera, see if I can get a little bit better view of my workspace, and then I will show you what we're going to do today. There's a bit of delay, so I may still be working on this. Let's see if I can get rid of the shadow. There we go. That's pretty good. So we're going to do mirror stamping today, and mirror stamping is how you can get a stamp that just goes one way to also stamp the other way. I'm so glad you're here, Jackie, and you're excited to learn this. You're going to love it. So I did it last night with the dogs. There's a card I made with the dogs. I also did it with these little ladies from the stamp set Senior Years. And I have them reaching out towards each other and a little sentiment in between. Here's another dog one I did. And today I'm going to do it with my favorite goats. I like those quite a bit. So it's really quick and easy and fun. It does take a little bit of practice, and I just realized I need to grab a piece of Whisper White. Okay. And we're going to start with this piece of Whisper White, and I forgot to cut it because I lost track of time. True Confessions. It's 4 1/4 by 3. So I'll just cut one of those. Okay. So the one thing you do need to do this is the silicone mat. Hey, Courtney. And this mat is really good for when you're gluing things and using the liquid glue, or your adhesive and you need to put something down that has adhesive on it. It won't stick to it. So it comes in handy to do that a lot. The one thing you want to be careful of, it does have an embossed Stampin' Up! Pause. There we go. I'm sorry, I got a call on my phone, and that's what happened. Okay, so we're going to use that goat. I'm going to use my Memento black ink because I want to color with my blends, and the Memento is the best ink to use if you're going to do that. So I'm going to ink up this little goat really well, and I'm going to stamp him facing this way right here in the lower corner, right onto my silicone mat. I'm going to leave it there just for a second or two so I get a good transfer of ink. And then I'm going to take my piece of Whisper White and I'm going to lay it right on top. And I know this is the goat that I did with the mirror stamping, and so I know I want it on this edge of my card. Sometimes you have to play around with that a little bit to get it oriented the way you want it. And I'm holding it nice and still and just rubbing it a little bit. And then I'm going to pick it up, and there's my goat facing in the other direction. So it's really that simple. It's not quite as sharp and as clear a stamp as you get when you stamp it directly on your cardstock. So it's good to use an image that you might color in because then then you don't quite notice that it's not quite as sharp as the one next to it. So there's my 2 goats. While I'm here, I'm going to stamp my sentiment. And you would want to wipe off your silicone mat when you're done. Don't put your hand in it or put your piece of paper back down on it. I do like to stamp on the Stampin' Pierce mat, although this is, yeah, this is okay. It's not a photopolymer. Okay. I'm using Mary Merlot to put my sentiment right there. You're the GOAT, greatest of all time. Hello, Julie. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for sharing. So now I'm just going to do a little bit of coloring, and I'm going to start with my dark smoky slate and just kind of outline around the edges. Now I'm thinking I used the light on the last one. Let's see. First, okay, we'll do this. And the legs are pretty hard to shade. They're pretty skinny. So I'm just going to color them in quickly. And I'm going to go over all the places that Stampin' Up! Says there should be a shadow, and they've defined it with these lines. I'm going to leave his nose a little plain and do his little hair on the top and just a couple wisps in his tail. Okay, so you can see how I would just color that in, just like that. I'm not going to finish coloring right now. I did use the ivory for his horns and a little bit on his snout, his lips here, just to lighten it up a little, and then kind of went over that with the smoky slate and around it a little, just to have it be a little bit lighter. And I used the Cherry Cobbler. There is not a Mary Merlot blend, but I used the Cherry Cobbler for the little flower. Just to give it a little pop. And then I'm going to get my piece of DSP, which is over here. Someplace over here. And I will cut the Just Jade piece. I got both of the pieces for this from one piece of the 6x6 designer series paper. I'll show you how I put that together, but the bigger background piece is 3 3/4 by 5, and I will put all these measurements on the video post after it comes back. And then I cut a 1 inch by 5 for the little polka dot piece that you see in the back. So I'll show you how I put that together quickly, and then I'll show you, we'll do one more example of the mirror stamping so that you can see that again. Okay. So I took a piece of Whisper White first. I do like to use the liquid glue when I'm doing the layers because I can have a little bit more wiggle room if I need it. Okay, and then my piece of the Just Jade DSP. Well, I don't really need to put that cap back on. And I'll center that. Whoops, you can see it does wiggle, sometimes even when you don't want it to. There you go. And then I used the other side of it to put a little piece of contrasting print there. And then when I finish coloring my goats, I will pop them up on some dimensionals right there in the middle of that. But I want to show you a couple other things with the mirror stamping. I'm going to grab a baby wipe just to clean off that corner. And the ink comes right off. It doesn't dry, as you can see on there because of that silicone, but it wipes right off. And I'm gonna use the dog this time and show you another way that you can do mirror stamping that some people think is a little bit easier. Okay, so this is the dog from the Pampered Pets set. It's a fun set. I need this to dry off a little bit. So again, I'm going to use my Memento ink. And this dog faces a different way than the goat stamp. The goat faced to the left and the dog faces to the right. So I'm going to stamp the dog in the other corner of my mat. Get it good and inked. Oh, I was going to show you the other way. So the other way, that will be fine right there. You would stamp on your Whisper White first. So I'm going to stamp the dog on my Whisper White. And then I'm going to take this stamped, and you can see through it a little bit. Can you see that? And I'm going to line it up with my dog. I'm going to leave a little bit of room so that they can be talking to each other. And I'm going to put it down and take my block and press. And press it on that way. Some people prefer to do that. I find it comes out a little bit, a little less clear, I think. It's not bad, but it's a little bit less clear that way than the original way. But it's really just a matter of preference, whatever you find easier to do. And like I said, you might just have to play a little bit with the orientation on your piece of paper. Stamping on your piece of paper first and then putting it down this way is easier for figuring out exactly how you want it to look. But that's a second way of doing it. So I hope you'll give it a try. It's a pretty easy technique. You just need a silicone mat and some Memento ink in your stamps, and you can do it. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. If there's any Stampin' Up! Products or a catalog you would like, please let me know, post it here, or send me a message, and I'd be happy to help you out. And I would love it if you would like my page, share the video, and spread the word so we can get more people crafting and making other people happy. Oh, my grandson says hi. Hi to Orson. Tell him that Nana says hi. Okay, thanks very much, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.